Okay, good evening, and thank you all for coming to the Candidates Forum. This is Lyons Township High School School Board Election Forum of District 204. We have 4 fine candidates for 3 positions, and we are being sponsored tonight by the Grange Area League of Women Voters. My name is Jan Goldberg, and I am a proud member of the League of Women Voters, and I will be your moderator this evening. We also have other league members coming around the audience with little index cards for you to ask questions of the candidates and hand them to me. So we'll be doing that. And we also have a timekeeper who will be making sure that people don't go over. Can all the candidates see the 15 seconds? Jean, do you want to sit a little higher up maybe so they could see? Yeah, come forward, Jean, so they can see you. That's very important. Without the timekeeper, we will not be on time. So she has a card for 15 seconds and another one that says stop. Is that correct? Jean Clotter, everybody, our timekeeper tonight. And can I see the hands of the people that will be distributing index cards for questions? We have Caroline and Melissa. So please, a big round of applause for my helpers. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, all 4 candidates have agreed to the following rules. By straws, by pick of the straw, the following will be giving opening statements at 2 minutes apiece in the order from my podium to the end. This was done by straw picking just a few minutes ago. Nobody saw the straws ahead of time. Okay, and then I will be asking questions, and each person will take a turn to answer for 1 minute. There will be no formal rebuttal because that would just take too long. And if a candidate wants to rebut another candidate's comments, then he or she can do so in his or her closing statements, which will come at the end, which is also 2 minutes. Okay, so all the candidates have received 2 questions from the League of Women Voters and another 2 questions from the website that the League of Women Voters put up for the community to ask questions. Election Day is April 7th. From 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. That's just a few short weeks from today. However, early voting starts on Monday already, this coming Monday, March 23rd, and goes all the way to the Saturday before the election, which is April 4th. And the closest place that people can early vote, if they choose to do so, is the Hodgkins Village Hall. And they are open Monday through Friday from 9 to 5, and I believe on the website it said Saturday as well, from 9 to 5, if you should choose to do so. There are 4 candidates for 3 positions, and each of these folks is going for a 4-year term. One candidate could not be here this evening. Her name is Jessica McLean, and she actually is running in a separate contest for a 2-year position because she's finishing off the term of another member who resigned. So she is running unopposed for a 2-year position, and her name is Jessica McLean. Is there anyone here from her campaign that wishes to make a statement? Okay, I had to ask that. Okay, so there'll be no clapping, there'll be no catcalling or anything else until the very end. So, and again, if you have a question that you would like to ask of the future school board of District 204, please hail down one of our 2 question distributors, write the question down, and they will send it to me. Okay, we are now ready for opening statements, and by straw picking, not coin toss, Mr. Polisek will go first.
I have a long history.
Can you take the mic? We are being recorded, so we've been asked to use it.
I have a long history and perspective of LT.
Is that better? Okay.
I have a long history and perspective at LT, a 24-year member of the board, a 66-year resident of the community. I have practiced dentistry in LaGrange Park for 46 years. My wife Carol and I and our 2 sons have all graduated from LT. I am still excited about LT as I was as a student. I am privileged to have served the community as a member of the board that works collaboratively for educational excellence while working within the financial means of the district. We keep the focus on the students. I have held the positions of president, vice president, chairperson of the finance and facilities committees, and have negotiated every employee contract since 1989. The board has maintained and improved the facilities without going to referendum. The curriculum has improved and kept up with the times. Improvement of hiring practices has upgraded the facility, faculty, and the staff. Additionally, the district is in good financial footing thanks to a board and administration avoiding unnecessary expenses, balancing the budget, using projections to plan for the future, and not being afraid to say no. We are rebuilding the North Campus cafeteria due to its age and dilapidated infrastructure. It'll be a wonderful place for students to eat lunch, but the effect on education may be greater. With it, the school can change the schedule to 4 lunch periods. This will allow each student to have a lunch period in a study hall each day. During the study hall, each student can have an opportunity for tutoring, counseling, and support. Again, a necessary renovation that
15
improves
seconds.
the opportunities for students. Is that it?
You have a few more seconds.
Okay.
Sorry.
The latest is the learning. Although the work of the board has to be pragmatic, the members must be in favor of positive and productive change. The latest is the learning management system tied to a one-on-one computer initiative that will allow for better communications.
Okay, thank you. Next, we'll hear from Ms. Rosinski.
I have been a resident of LaGrange for 20 years, where my husband Marty Ellenby and I have raised our 3 children, Jacob, Hannah, and Ben. For the past 8 months, it has been an honor and privilege to serve on the District 204 board. I chose to apply for the vacant board position last summer as I feel strongly about giving back to our community. We are very fortunate to live in a diverse, vibrant community with wonderful schools and socially active residents. I have served on 2 other boards, Chicago Area Families for Adoption for 5 years and the LaGrange Little League for 9 years. During my second year on the LaGrange Little League board, I started the Challenger program, a buddy baseball program for kids and young adults with disabilities. In addition, I've participated on the Citizens Council of LaGrange as well as the Delegate Assembly. I believe my participation on these civic entities has prepared me to tackle some of the difficult decisions the school board will be facing. While our family is not unique, all 3 of my children have had very different educational needs. We span the academic spectrum, including honor roll, 504 plan, and an individual education plan, or IEP. My youngest son has an IEP. I have continually advocated for novel and unique accommodations. While meeting with administrators, teachers, and support staff, I've developed a greater appreciation for their skills and dedication. I have a better understanding of the challenges they face in providing a fair and appropriate education for all students. My son's challenges have provided me with additional perspective. I believe that this will help me advocate better for all our students in District 204. One of the most pressing issues right now is our state's inability to properly fund education. Due to the Illinois state income tax drop, K through 12 funding may be reduced. In addition, if passed, Senate Bill 1 would negatively affect Lyons Township. We would lose $2 million in funding over the course of several years. The cost of pensions may also be shifted to school districts, further decreasing our funding. The educational needs of our students are paramount, as are the needs of our aging buildings. Lyons Township High School course offerings rival those of a small college. My hope is that we will be able to continue offering all our courses. However, there may come a time when we have to take a critical look at renegotiating contracts and reevaluating course offerings. On the bright side, our beautiful new cafeteria and Reber Center are days away from completion, coming in on time and under budget.
Thank you. Next, we'll have Mr. Palmer.
See if we can get this one to work. Good evening. First, I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters for having the forum here tonight, and Melissa and Caroline, thanks very much, and my high school algebra teacher, Mrs. Klinowski, thanks so much for what you do here with the League of Women Voters. My name is Philip Palmer. I've been a resident here since 1967. I'm married to my wife, Kathy, for 28 years. I have 2 kids, Emma and Kyle. Kyle's class of 2008 here, and my daughter, Emma, is graduating this year. I'm a local business owner, and my family has has owned a restaurant in LaGrange since 1976. I became involved in education as a dad, as a working parent that would come home and find their kids already with the homework put away and the one-word answers on how the school day went. I got involved in my kids' grade school. I served on the District 106 Educational Foundation for 8 years. I've served on the LaGrange Highlands District 106 School Board for 4 years. I've served on the Lyons Township Community Advisory Council for a term, and I'm now completing my 4th year as a LT School Board member. I currently serve on the Facilities, Technology, HR, and Policy committees. And I look forward to continuing the good works of the board for stewardship of tax dollars, but also valuing the education of our students and moving the district forward. Every day we want to be better. Every day that we have our kids here at school. Thanks very much.
Thank you. And our final opening statement will be by Mr. Prezaclasa.
Thank you very much. I'd like to reiterate and thank the League of Women Voters for organizing this forum. You as a group do so much to spirit democracy. I'd like to acknowledge the candidates for the time and the talent that they're offering to the Lyons Township High School. And I'd like to thank all of you for showing an involvement in the school district and your attendance here. My wife, Helen, and I have deep roots in the community. We met in Spain. I was a young social studies teacher at Argo High School, taking a group of students to Spain on a spring break, and Helen was with a group of teachers, and we met in Spain. And it turned out she was a teacher at Ogden School, and she started kindergarten through 8th grade in District 102 and graduated for LT. And I was a graduate of Morton West High School, so that's how we got our beginning and our roots. When we first married, we moved to LaGrange. Helen continued as a teacher, a second grade teacher, and until she changed her name from Miss Taslar to Mrs. Prezaclasa. And I pursued an administrative career in education, serving as a superintendent of several school districts in Illinois. And my last school district was in DuPage County, District 20 in Roselle, Bloomingdale, Hanover Park, and unincorporated Keeneyville. And then the last 10 years, I've been a full-time faculty member at Concordia University in River Forest, teaching the master's degree program for those who want to be a school principal, and also teaching the doctoral program for those who aspire to be a superintendent, assistant superintendent, or curriculum director. So I'm looking forward to your questions tonight.
Okay, thank you very much. We will now go to the questions section, and I'm going to start with the questions that were submitted before this evening and then go to questions that were submitted this evening. Each candidate will have 1 minute with which to respond, and for each question, I will mix up the order. So you'll never know who's going to be first, second, or third. Okay, this first question, since we are a high school, comes from a high school student, and it is as follows. As a current student at LT, I see few to no students of color represented in my AP and honors classes. As a result, I happen to learn in an environment of a very homogeneous experience. If elected to the school board, how do you plan to encourage more students of color to take more challenging classes, such as AP and honors? And we will start with Mr. Palmer.
Well, thank you. The reference to color really is not necessarily a driving criteria. We look at our students in a very homogeneous way for the most part, but for all students, both of any ethnic background, or not, we as a board do have increased AP course enrollment as a board goal. We started this year with both physics and English, in eliminating the Excel level in those classes, and the AP enrollment has increased, and we look forward to doing that for all students across the board.
Okay, Ms. Rosinski?
I would have to agree with Mr. Palmer. We have discussed at board meetings reaching out to minority students, and there are several things in place so that we can pursue this. I do know that in some of the readings I've done recently, it has a little bit more to do with either their situations at home or just not having enough confidence. And so we hope to, as Mr. Palmer said, we hope to try to build up that confidence.
Okay, Mr. Polachek?
The principal this year is starting, Dr. Waterman is starting a program to reach out to a lot of students who are not hitting the upper levels, and to try to get them to move forward into AP, et cetera. And I'm sure part of this is the minority students. But this is a new program that's just starting out, and they're phasing it in two different fashions. The study of it came from two different areas. Waterman had a study, and Dr. Eggerdean had a study. And so they're working forward to improve the everybody's participation at all levels.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Prezaclasa?
We got it on now. This is a tough question. It really is. Clearly, as I look at this state report card, it appears that 75% of the LT population is white, so there's a factor in there. And the other is how do we let students feel that they can succeed, and that's an important one. Now, I think we do have some entry criteria for the courses, but I think we should encourage students to attempt to meet those. So it's a very tough question, and I don't have a real good answer for it.
Okay, our second question comes to the candidates via the league. We sent 2 questions to all of the candidates ahead of time, and one of the candidates in an opening statement alluded to Senate Bill 1. And Senate Bill 1 being discussed right now in the General Assembly. It might have some different numbers in the House, and it goes through several permutations. But the point is that state aid to various school districts, there's a good chance that the state aid formula will be redistributed. And wealthier districts that have a higher tax base will probably lose a good chunk of state aid. So the question here is, how will this affect the budget of District 204? And for this question, we start with Mr. Polasek. If this bill should pass.
Well, it hasn't passed yet, and we're already looking into the effect and preparing alternatives. The administration is. All alternatives should be on the table. The board should select a solution that affects the students' education the least, because their education is our primary goal. All union contracts will have renegotiating clauses to open it up so we can redistribute. Hopefully, they will allow us to raise our levy by the amount we lose so the students don't suffer. But that's asking a lot of the legislature to have that much common sense.
Mr. Palmer will be next.
Thank you. The good news is it is not yet law. Thank you for raising the issue tonight, and hopefully, with everyone's input to their legislators, perhaps it won't become law. But it would be devastating to LT and all its feeder districts. Every feeder district, except for one, would be negatively impacted, and the total to all LT feeder districts and LT combined is approaching $5 million of lost state aid. It also would affect, in my opinion, negatively special education and how that is funded currently by the state. So it's complicated. It's something that everyone should know about, and everyone should be talking to their legislators about.
Okay, Mr. Prezaclasa?
This is a very complicated issue to start with, and basically LT has about 90% of its funding comes locally, not from the state, but the general state aid goes into the educational fund. LT's educational fund is about $57 million. LT's general state aid is about 1.5 million, so it turns out to be about 2.75% of that. Now, even if they bring it in, they're not saying they're going to take it away completely. And in 1997, when they changed the formula, they had a hold harmless clause, which meant you don't get hurt. But that's not a great solitude. But clearly, what I think it's incumbent upon all of us, not only the high school but the feeder districts, is to engage our legislators so they understand the impact it would have on the school district, because you cannot simply take away $1.5 million and expect things to operate as usual.
Okay, and Ms. Rosinski, to finish off that question.
Well, I agree with everything everyone has said, but in addition, we also know that we are in very good condition at LT. We have plenty of reserve, and as I stated a little bit earlier, if need be, we could certainly take a look at course offerings, and those that are not well attended might need to go. And in addition, looking at contracts, teacher contracts and administrator contracts, and so I know it's a scary thing, but I think LT will be fine.
Okay, thank you. Another question that was submitted by the league to the four candidates ahead of time. Since we're on the topic of money, we might as well get the elephant in the room out in the open, the pension issue. There has been talk in Springfield of sharing the burden or even shifting the burden of retired teachers' pensions from the state legislature to the local school districts. Again, this is in the talking stages right now. But if it were to become a reality, how would LT prepare? How would District 204 prepare for this? And for this question, we will start with Mr. Prezaclasa.
Thank you. This is an extremely difficult situation, pensions. In Illinois, teacher pensions, basically teachers have withdrawn out of their paycheck. Right now, it's close to 10% of their salary is deducted for pensions. The rest is supposed to be taken care of by the state of Illinois. So a teacher faithfully has withdrawn out of their paycheck this amount of money. Over the years, the state of Illinois has not put its share in and has taken pension holidays and so forth. Now with this crisis, there is some conversation of letting the districts become responsible. I don't know how that can happen, but basically the educational fund salaries at LT is about $42 million a year in salaries. Now, the educational benefits are about $5 million, and none of that, or just a very little bit of that, none of that really is dedicated for pensions because the state pays for it. So how would a district do that? And if somehow you magically said, well, we should match it 10%, the LT would have to come up with $4.2 million every year and with no means to do it. So the response I'm giving is we have to engage the legislators that this is not a reasonable approach, and if it was, you better. That's a hard question for 1 minute.
Yes, I'm sorry.
You'd better engage our legislators
I don't have different
to find a solution to that.
Okay. It is a hard question for 1 minute, but that's the rules. Okay, Mr. Polasek would be next.
As in the other
Could you take the mic, please? Yes, thank you.
Again, as in the other case, we hope the legislator is smart enough to allow us to ways to raise the money locally. If they don't, it's going to be very difficult. There would have to be some pretty good cuts in our programs, et cetera. I just think it's really unbelievable that the legislatures took the money and used it for other things, and now they're trying to let everybody else hold the bag. But it'll be a difficult problem, but it's another one that you have to face and just move forward on.
Okay, Ms. Rosinski will be next.
Well, again, I don't know if we can fully answer that question until we know what their intent is, how much, and to know where exactly it's coming from. But I think that I reiterate what everyone else has said. We need to talk to our legislators.
Okay, and then Mr. Palmer.
Well, I will say that it is impacting Lyons Township presently. It's impacting us with our decision-making process on just about any financial issues that we're discussing. We always have to discuss the what if, because you just don't know. And that in itself is a difficult situation, to want to do the best for the district, and yet you don't know what if. So, as you know, we're a tax cap reliant on property taxes for the most part. They are tax capped, and we're tied in with the CPI. So everyone can see where our revenues are going in the short term, and it would be a devastating thing for every school district in the state, and many in much worse situation than LT.
Okay, our next question comes to us from the league, and this question was not given to the four candidates in advance. All of you are going for 4-year terms, and sometimes it's difficult to look out 4 years into the future and make economic projections. And sometimes the reality is that you have to go to the taxpayers and ask for a referendum to raise taxes on their properties. So if you support such a move, what do you think the impact will be on the average homeowner in the LT district? And for this question, we will go to Ms. Rosinski to start.
Well, I can say that most of the homeowners will not be happy, including all of us up here probably. We moved to LaGrange because it's a lovely community and because the schools are terrific, and it's a safe place to live, and we have a downtown, so our kids don't have to go downtown Chicago. They can go to DTLG, downtown LaGrange. So I can only speak for myself, but we would bite the bullet to stay here, and but I think it would be very difficult. As you probably all know, our taxes have gone up appreciably. We moved here in '95 and thought we were getting a real good deal on what our taxes were then, and let's say they've increased logarithmically. So I do think that the taxpayers would agree, because LaGrange is such an amazing place to be.
Okay, Mr. Prezzaclasa will be next.
It appears to me that the school district is in sound financial condition. So I think the burden for the Board of Education is to keep the district in sound fiscal condition. If ever times change dramatically, then it would be incumbent upon the board to explain that to the community and to convince the community. And the most dearest asset a community has is their school system, and the most significant one, not significant, I don't mean it that way, the most highlighted one is the high school. And I think if there was a problem, it would be the responsibility of the board to convince the community they needed the money. Nevertheless, I really think compared to so many other high school districts, I think LT is in very good condition. And I think if there's good stewardship throughout, that we would avoid this situation.
Okay, Mr. Palmer would be next.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say, and I'm sure we all agree, that that is not going to happen in the next 4 years. I can't imagine a scenario that it hasn't happened in more than 20 years. John, I'm sure chairman of the finance committee knows exactly, but yeah, the LT has not come to its residents for a revenue increase by referendum in a very long time, and it's not going to happen in the next 4 years. The doom and gloom that we were talking about with pensions and SB1, it hopefully will come to some sort of resolution shortly, but it isn't something that that is going to put our high school in harm's way. That we need to come to our residents for a tax increase.
Okay, and Mr. Balasek?
The school has not gone out to referendum as far back, according to what I know, somewhere in the 60s. And so it's highly unlikely under this circumstance it's going to happen in the next 4 years. But if the legislature does something draconian with the retirement funds or the lack of state funding, then something has to be done, and probably they have to be the ones to open up an increase in levy to match whatever cost they hand to us. They have a tendency to want to do unfunded mandates, and which is really kind of an unfair thing, but that's one of the practices the legislature has done in the past. At any rate, I don't think there will be any move for an increase or a referendum.
Okay, our next question was handed to us this evening, and it concerns STEM education, and STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. Much has been written about the number of excellent jobs in the STEM fields that are going unfilled due to lack of qualified applicants, and the resulting global talent migration to fill these jobs. In this global context, should LTHS be encouraging, offering, or requiring more STEM courses as part of their core education curriculum, and particularly computer programming courses? Again, STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math. And for this question, we will go to Mr. Palmer first.
Well, STEM is something that's very important to kids today, to business today, and it's our job and yours as parents to get our kids the education to get those jobs in the future. Yes, we do want to move our curriculum that in the way of STEM into the future, but our curriculum is so broad presently that I believe just about any student can find some of the best science, math, engineering programs that they would need to become college prep ready.
Okay, Mr. Polachek.
The school, in the way of programming, developed the Cisco systems qualifying courses, which allow students at LT to take courses and become qualified as technicians and programmers in the Cisco systems. And that's been around for at least 6 years. And we have some other programs now that are coming forward. I'm hoping that they get more into some of the programs that develop the apps and the websites. At any rate, so a lot of that is already there, and our math and our physics programs are very strong, and that's the other side of it. So I think we're already doing some of that, not that we rest on our laurels. We're always trying to improve curriculum, but it's already being done to an extent.
Okay, Mr. Prezaclasa is next.
reviewing the LT curriculum, I do see we have an extensive offering, and a lot of high schools would be envious of the offering here at LT in the STEM area. Nevertheless, we need to be responsive to students and their interest in changes. I was attending an event, the Grange Citizens Council last week, and a parent spoke with me and said, you know, I would really like to see LT start a robotics club. And I think if good ideas come forward, I'm sure the administration would be amenable to doing a lot of things in addition to that. So we have to be nimble and respond to a lot of the student interests, because some of their interests may be ahead of our thinking. But yet I think we can have comfort in knowing we've got a good basic offering of curricular offerings in STEM.
Okay, and thank you. Ms. Rosinski will be next.
Yes. I have to be honest with you. While I have two children that have gone to LT, I am not that familiar. I do know that they've taken high-level math and science. Personally, I was not aware that we were deficient in any way, but I know that Mr. Eggerding is out in the audience, and he's our curriculum guru. You know, again, I think that this is something that we can certainly discuss and talk about and analyze.
Okay, our next question has to do with the college application process. Much has been written about the changing nature of the college application process and the increasing complexity for both parents and students in navigating this process. As a parent of a senior who has recently completed the process, I was surprised and a little disappointed to see the relative lack of investment in support for this process, particularly in light of the fact that resources are dedicated to other areas such as athletics. While the counseling staff at LT makes heroic efforts, it is clear that they are stretched very thin. How does the college application process fit into LT's educational mission? And do you feel that LT can or should do more to support this process? And for this question, we're going to go to Ms. Rosinski first. Sorry, you were last and first.
Well, I do know that Ms. Musser takes a lot of time to discuss the whole college process, both with students and with parents. I think that maybe whoever wrote this question maybe perhaps disappointed with the fact that it's hard for these kids to get into their counselors, because let's face it, there's a lot of kids at LT and there are fewer counselors. So I think that might be part of the issue. I know it has been in my family. But I do personally feel that LT does a very good job. And again, it depends on your child. If they're very independent and they take the ball and run with it, things go very smoothly. But that is not always the case. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Prezaclasa will be next.
I'm not sure what the issue is of getting college counseling or filling out the applications and so forth. I would think as a board member, if I heard this, I would direct it to the superintendent, and I would think that there could be easy solutions. You know, if in fact they are undermanned, then there is something has to be done. But if it's a matter of filling out a process, I think they could create a workshop and other things to get them through this application, which can be onerous. But I think this is a situation that I think can be a real good fix, because clearly so many students, really so many students, are moving on to college, and it is a complicated process.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Polasek will be next.
I'm not aware that there was a real problem with this. I know that we had close to $35 million in scholarships last year at graduation, and so I assume that people are getting their applications done. But as Mrs. Rosinski said, there's problems with some students go after it and others don't. And I know the counselors try their best to do a good job. She's real proud of the job that she does. And so I assume that it's being done. I'm not aware of problems. This is the first I've heard of it.
Okay, and Mr. Palmer to finish out this question.
Well, I'm sitting in the same seat as our question writer as well. My youngest is off to college next year and graduating from LT this year. So it is, for anyone that isn't quite there yet, it's very difficult as far as time management for the kids with scholarship, filling out scholarships, and then the common application and getting teacher letters and other things that are all part of the process. But I think that the college, Leanne Musser and her office does a great job with preparing a parent for college. I started attending her seminars as a freshman parent about financial aid and about selective colleges, and she does 3 or 4 a year that are very well done, I think, and explain the process pretty well to the parents.
Okay, thank you. We have 2 questions on park testing. Some of you might have seen in the news a lot of print about park testing, PARCC. I forget exactly what it stands for, but it's the new testing that they're doing throughout Illinois. And I'm going to put the questions together for the basis of time. And one of the questions has to do with students boycotting the park test at the high school level. Many students feel that they're over-tested, and the question is, how do you as board members feel about that? And then anything you'd like to say, either pro or con, about the park testing program. Okay, we're going to start with Mr. Palmer.
We just finished our park testing here at LT, and it is a logistical nightmare and kudos to the staff that has put that on to test thousands of kids. Is a difficult operation, and park is not, in my opinion, not a great fit for high school districts. The elementary and middle school district, I think it's a better test for those districts. College or high schools are geared towards the next step, colleges, and park is not ACT, and it may. We had to fight to have ACT still given by our state Board of Education this year in our districts. So I'm not a fan, but I'm looking at it from a certain level as a high school board member.
Okay, Ms. Rosinski?
Well, the Common Core standards sort of go hand in hand with the park testing, and I totally understand why they would want to do the park testing. However, I'm not a big fan. I think that first of all, the test itself requires a lot more time, many more hours, which of course then takes away from instructional time. In addition, to my knowledge, none of the colleges or universities are acknowledging it. So then our kids would continue to have to take the ACT or the SAT. And so, again, while I think the Common Core is a good thing to make education sort of uniform throughout Illinois and the entire country, I do think that the park testing is a little too onerous, and I worry about the time involved for all kids.
Okay, Mr. Polachek?
To reiterate, the time involved is phenomenal, and also the expense, because the park test requires that you have computers for the testing. They're doing the paper this year, but they have it on their mandate to have every school have computers for it. So that's just another cost to go on top of the possible pension and the SB1 bill. So I think it's an overkill. Our superintendent is anti-park. I tend to agree with his position that it's really not for high schools, it's more for grammar schools, and we need pre-college tests, not the Common Core test.
Okay, and Mr. Pezaclasa?
Well, I think some of the angst of students and parents were, this was put on by adults, not the students that brought this on. And that PARC is Partnership for Assessment of Readiness for College and Careers. That's what the acronym stands for, and it's a testing our curriculum related to standards. And I think we need to be accountable. Yet, do we need a scoreboard mentality? You know, and I think the testing, gets us into that. And I think we need to start helping the community understand the benefits and the limits of testing. And I think we're just sort of moving it to the point of overdoing it and taking precious time away. We hire quality teachers to work with boys and girls, and we really want that to be the focus and not some way out esoteric test.
Okay, thank you. I think we only have time for one more question, and I thank all the people that wrote on the index cards, but unfortunately, like in all forums, we do have time limits, and we have another forum after this. This question has to do with the Chinese program. It said the recent decision to phase out the Chinese program. What is the plan for the current students in the program, and why eliminate this language, being as it is spoken by more people in the world than any other? I'm assuming this is Mandarin. Mr. Polasek, you'd be first on this question.
This subject was discussed at our last board meeting, and plans have been made to take care of the students that are already in the program so that they can continue and finish it. The program itself has seen a declining enrollment. It's very difficult when you don't have a full-time teacher to keep a teacher on staff to run the program. And so we've had, I think, 4 teachers in 5 years, something like that. And so the enrollment isn't there, and holding a teacher is difficult. It's sort of the children, the students speak with their feet, and they have basically said that they're not going to take Chinese. So the writing has been on the wall. We gave it a good go, but it just isn't there.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Palmer will be next.
First of all, the decision, and it is the correct decision for the district, but the decision was only prompted because the teacher is leaving. The difficulty of finding a Mandarin teacher is there probably isn't anything more difficult, and we've had a teacher for a couple of years that we thought was going to be something that we could grow the program with even a little bit more, and it just unfortunately didn't happen. The numbers they have been on a steady decrease, and it's just something that we had to stop for incoming freshmen. We are going to take care of all students that wish to, that are currently enrolled and wish to continue in Mandarin with a non-certified staff instructor and online education. And we will definitely take care of all those kids that wish to continue until their graduation.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Preziklasa will be next.
I think this explanation is very clear and understandable. If you can't have enough classes for a full-time teacher and you have a part-time teacher in Mandarin, it's very difficult to keep the employment for a while. And if you do not have a growing enrollment, you have a declining one in a high school, you have to look at these numbers, and there's just a limit of how many courses you offer. And I think that still LT has at least 3, I think it's 3 languages still will be offered at LT.
Okay, and Ms. Rosinski?
Well, again, we're going to take care of all the kids that are currently enrolled, and obviously that won't be this next year's incoming freshmen, but certainly they will be able to complete their 4 years of foreign language. And you never know, this online class might actually work out. I mean, we do send our kids to TCD. We send them outside of LT to get some education. So I guess it may be a done deal, and it may not. We'll have to see how things go.
Okay, thank you. Our closing statements are upon us, and by the drawing of short straws to larger straws, we are going to go in reverse order of that we had from the opening statements. So that means 2 minutes per. And Mr. Presa, you are first.
I just want to share with everybody that I did get the short straw. So, but thank you for listening tonight, and I appreciated the comments, and actually I appreciated the opportunity to get to know the three other candidates up here. It was a very delightful experience, and I view school board membership as being a trustee of the school for the community. That what other social service in Lyons Township affects so many than Lyons Township High School? And I think LT has had a wonderful reputation over the years, and it continues to do that, and I'm confident that it will continue onward. And I think as a guiding light, we have to look at that we want to maintain a quality, relevant education for boys and girls, young men and women. And that can be changing throughout the time, and we need to respond to that. And to do that, we have to hire exceptional faculty, wonderful administration, and they need to help provide, they need to provide the leadership in that direction, and the Board of Education can add to that leadership. We really want students prepared for full participation in society. So I would hope that that I could, with my deep background in education, my emotional balance that I think I have, and motivation and really a passion for public education, provide a service to the community, and would warrant being considered as a member of the trustees, the Board of Education. So thank you very much, and I really want to thank the three of you up here as well.
Thank you. Mr. Palmer will be next.
Thanks, Tony. Well, thank you very much for having us here tonight, and thank you for your questions and your interest in both Lyons Township and the League of Women Voters and their mission. I'm very thankful for the privilege to serve on the Lyons Township School Board. It's a great place that I have enjoyed being a student myself years ago, and sending my own children. Just to be a small part of that is very gratifying, and I really enjoy the work I get to do with administrators and to some extent teachers and students. But I take the responsibility very strongly. We've talked about some doom and gloom here tonight that hopefully, all in moderation, that I believe that the worst is not going to happen, but we will plan for the worst and hope for the best. And that's what we've been doing for, gosh, at least 2-3 years. We've been talking about the possibility of these things happening. So we're cognizant of that, and that's going to continue. We will be very careful to make sure that LT will continue its high standards and what you expect as taxpayers, as parents, people in the neighborhood, that we're not going to let that affect our school. I'm very proud of what we've done in the last 4 years. The technology upgrades, infrastructure upgrades, the new Reber Center come out the 13th. We have a grand opening in April for the Reber Center and the cafeteria, so please attend those. But I'm getting a wrap, so I will say again, thank you very much for the privilege I've had the last 4 years. Don't forget to come out and vote April 7th, and thank you very much.
Next will be Ms. Rosinski.
Well, I just want to say, again, I've only been on the board for 8 months, but it has been truly a pleasure for me to work with such wonderful people. We're very fortunate to have our superintendent, our school board members, administrators, and all teachers share a common goal, and that is providing the best educational opportunities for our students. I would also like to thank the League of Women Voters for this forum. I hope I've been able to adequately convey my commitment to all students in our district, and certainly my desire to continue on the District 204 school board. Thank you.
And last but not least, Mr. Polisek.
Well, thank you very much for the League of Women Voters and for those in attendance and those watching on TV. This has been a long run for me. I've been on the board for a long time. I have enjoyed it. We've gone through some hard decisions. I think we've made good ones. We've really had a collaborative board for about 23 years, and it's been a pleasure to work with everybody. They all work together and work looking forward to the future. They've hired good people in the administration and in the faculty, and the ideas that come from them are very positive, and everybody keeps their eye on the ball. And I hope that things go very well the next 4 years as they have in the past, and that we continue to improve. And I hope everybody gets out and votes, because that's what you're supposed to do. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, on behalf of the League of Women Voters, I am Jan Goldberg, and it is my pleasure, it has been my pleasure to moderate this group of fine candidates. On April 7th, you will have to make a choice. All 4 of them are running for 3 seats for 4-year terms. A few of them mentioned the date is April 7th. The polls are open at 6 a.m. and close at 7 p.m. And if you want to early vote, you can start this coming Monday. It's already upon us, Monday, March 23rd. And you can vote all the way through April 4th, which I believe is a Saturday. And the closest polling place for the early voting, remember it's not your own polling place, is at Hodgkins Village Hall. And if you would prefer to vote somewhere else, if you work downtown, you can always vote at 69 West Washington on the 5th floor, which is the seat of the suburban and Cook County election headquarters. So now is the appropriate time to clap. And thank you all for your questions and for coming. We will have another debate for District 102 in about 15 minutes. So time for water, bathroom break, etc.